Welcome, everybody, to another Talk Data to Me. We have a very special guest today with us, Brian Minick. He's the COO of ZeroBounce, one of our favorite companies in this space. So, Brian, welcome.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're excited. I think you're a very unique brand when it comes to positioning as a data provider or facilitator in the marketplace. And just want to start off by asking you a little bit about the background of Zero Bounce and
Mhm.
what makes you guys unique and where you come from and all that good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So Zero Bounce comes from, and where we started is we really wanted to take a different approach in the email validation space. We were founded by people involved in mailing. And what we did was we actually needed a service for email validation. And as the team went out to evaluate the players in the space, they were unsatisfied with the way that people were handling data, the way they were kind of handling the accuracy of the validation. And this was really large scale data that needed to be cleaned. And so, it ended up being, well, we'll just build it ourselves. And so that's actually how Zero Bounce was conceptually founded, was a lack of trust in the space and lack of quality. And so, yeah, and here we are. Is we started in 2017, product launched at the end of 2017, and we have just seen significant growth, and we're just really excited to be able to help customers and put out what we believe is the best service in the industry, and continue to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have certainly made it very easy for companies to transact with your business. I think that's very unique in the data buying space. And maybe we can talk about that before we get into some of the other questions. I know that you operate this business in
Sure.
one way, shape, or form, and I'm very impressed with everything from the pricing visibility to the calculator on the website to how amazing the chat is on your site and even the down to the affiliate program. So can you tell us a little bit about why you guys decided to make this self-serve model and how it's been really helpful for your positioning?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have two full models. We have the self-service, and then we have more of a hand-holding approach for higher touch or enterprise type customers that need consulting along with guidance and hand-holding. But on the self-service side, we're all tech guys, right? And who if you don't need somebody and you don't want somebody, there's always a space for that. And so we kind of wanted to make sure that that avenue is available for those people. And so we just developed, ways that if we were buying, we would want to work with a company like ours. So we don't force you into contracts. We don't, require you to do X, Y, and Z. We actually have very minimal packages so you can try and test out the product and feel comfortable. We even have free versions. And so, we really just wanted to make it affordable for everyone and available for everyone was kind of our concept. So there's no client too small and there's no client too big. And with that comes, a lot of operational challenges, but it's been a really kind of pleasant challenge to help get out there for our customers. So big kudos to my support team. We run 24/7, 365. There's always somebody available. These are Zero Bounce employees. They are not outsourced and farmed out. These are our guys. We train them, and so we're just very proud of it. And I'm very proud of what our whole team has been able to accomplish from our enterprise side down to even the self service that just need a quick question answered, and we're always there for them. So um, that's how we're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I have to second or third all of that. It's like the experience you get as a buyer. I've purchased data off of the site. I've also helped, clients find and procure and get that hand holding and touch and even consulting and just think that the model is pretty sustainable and appreciated in the market where it's typically held back. But let's talk about your clients or your best clients or
Sure.
who you guys built this business for. We always like to ask, what's your ideal customer profile and why?
Sure. I would say we have a couple, just because the what we do as a business kind of opens avenues for lots of different types of businesses. But we kind of have the email marketers as one bucket, and these are the people that are sending lots of mail, acquiring a lot of data. They're very conscious about their reputation, or are in trouble and now trying to get out of it. So they're looking to us to help there. So lots of kind of mailers. We also have a nice segment of data providers that want to make sure that they have a very high quality of data that they're serving to their customers, and so they'll use us to validate email addresses, so that when they're provided to their clients, they're valid emails. And then the other would be more on the tech side, and this was a very pleasant surprise, especially when we're all in the tech space here on the company. But these are the guys like, I guess I don't want to name any brands here, but the ones that maybe offer free accounts that can be manipulated, maybe free 30-day trials, and people are just spinning up emails and putting junk email in there, and they're just basically kind of gaining the systems that these companies put in place for a good reason, and then they're just challenged by people who know how to get around it. So we've been able to help with that, whether it's you know fraud in a sense, where we can actually help remove some of these bad emails and stop them from using your site, or really just clean it up. And so the tech guys love us because they put us in front of everything. So there's no garbage getting past the front door, is how they look at it. And the marketers are typically on the other side scrambling once they already have the data. So really nice wide array of different types of customers that we help.
Yeah. So the customers that we know that love to use you guys are really the ones who make all the magic happen behind the scenes, the operational professionals who
Mhm.
maybe they administer the CRM, which gets fed from the trial system and the lead engine, and has to make all sense of all of that, dual data.
Mhm.
And you brought up a really great point, is using email validation or verification to um, basically identify maybe fraud emails or malicious emails. And I know that there are two main pieces of an email verification response. One is the status, yes or
Mhm.
no, right? And then there's the details, which you get a lot more granular information. And I think that a best or helping these operational professionals understand those details that can get granular, like if I have a trial set up, what codes am I going to be looking for to automate the quarantine or removal of bad data entering the system? Do you have any kind of best practices, or
Yeah.
just can you chat us through how you use details for automation?
Yeah, and thanks for bringing this up because it's a really important piece. So one of the things that we did when we developed this system is we refused to just say thumbs up, thumbs down, right, or green light, red light. We knew that there is so much gray area, and it really depends upon your business. And so not all, almost no two businesses are the same. And so, what we wanted to do with kind of our level of detail was allow businesses to make those decisions based on the detail that we could find out and figure out. And so, I'll give you a great example on what you're asking. If you have a free trial that you offer, and it probably costs you money, right? We all know that free trials are a way for businesses to get people to try the system or the platform or the content, whatever it is that you're offering. And you are, putting usually funds in one way or another up to get those customers to try it. A good example of somebody that you would want to block would be these disposable emails, or I like to call them burner emails. And these are emails that you can go into a website and it will just generate an email address for you. And it's good for about maybe 10 minutes, an hour, or max 24 hours. And it kind of self destructs. I always like the Inspector Gadget, always goes off in my head when I see these. But, these are ones that you absolutely want to block. And the reason is because once you think you're emailing them, and they will activate the account, they'll double opt in, confirm the account, even if you have those extra protocols in place, which you should, and it's great that you do. But it doesn't stop a real email address from actually getting past that front door. So blocking disposables, or at least just saying, hey, you can always serve up an error message that says, hey, thanks for, we want you to use the service, but we'd like to, be able to help you in the future, whatever your message might be. But blocking those emails, that's a really good example of disposables. You wouldn't want those in your mailing list, because the first time you go to send a mail to them on your newsletter, which might be, 3 days, a week, you're going to get a bounce back on it, and you're just going to immediately be like, what the heck? So you've lost all ability to contact that person before you even had a chance to, which is frustrating.
Absolutely. Well, on that same note, at the beginning of your answer, you mentioned, you didn't want to just be this yes, no.
Hmm.
And so I know that there's a lot of confusion in the market in terms of everyone's using marketing automation, whether it's HubSpot, Pardot, Marketo, Eloqua, Marketing Cloud, or Infusionsoft, whatever. You keep naming the email providers, even Mailchimps of the world, and a lot of those systems say they have email validation,
Hmm.
and it's like this yes no. And so a lot, when I'm speaking to a Marketo admin or an Eloqua admin or some of these really brilliant people, they're like, I already have email validation. And I want to kind of get to the root of what are you getting out of the box with a marketing automation, and how can you improve upon that by adding in, you know, what I consider is the most economical data value you can almost purchase in B2B, B2C marketing, which is email verification from an actual service.
Hmm.
Can you give us the differences and how you can benefit from, what this yes no in these marketing systems is, and what you get in terms of the granularity from your service?
Yeah, definitely. So let's start with some of the systems, the other systems, not a verification software like ZeroBounce. What we've seen is that they say they have verification or validation, and what we have identified is that they are mainly using other mailers on their platform, maybe some of their bounces, to kind of create a storage facility of that, and look at some sort of bounce codes on that. Um, it's okay. I mean, you'll get some benefit to it. I don't want to be ignorant and say that there's no value to that. But the difference is that it doesn't give you, you don't have any control over that, right? You have no influence, you have no say whether that email bounced because the mailbox was full at that time. That could be an example, right? Where it bounced. And now we can come back and say, hey, you know what? The guy cleaned up his inbox, is accepts mail again. You should send him email. And obviously he just checked it, right? Um, and so where that gray area really comes into play is allowing you to control what happens with your business versus somebody else. And so an invalid, that's pretty straightforward. There's no mailbox. Either you want to seek an alternative or wipe the record if that's all you have, right? But when we start talking about all the gray area with catch-alls, which is something we're really passionate about, and just for anybody who's not sure what a catch-all is, it's a setting on the domain for a mail admin that would set up the email on a domain. They would configure a catch-all, which basically says any mail that comes to the server, accept it, and once you accept it, we'll either route it to a person, which you don't know who that is, or we'll bounce it after the fact. And so, you know, there's good emails in there and there's bad emails, and ZeroBounce has been able to develop, again, a proprietary algorithm that we are doing email scoring on that to boost confidence levels on the emails that we think have activity, based on the data and things that we can get access to. So um, having those type of granular decisions, well, the granular detail, so that you can make informed decisions about your database or your customers, is just really important. And I would never really leave that up to a machine that has no idea what you do as a business. And I can give you another example of this. So we also are able to identify known complainers. So these are the people that will mark your emails as spam. Um, and I get a question from this all the time. We have people that just send transactional emails, and they're like, "Hey, should I remove the complainers?" And I would just say, well, do they expect your emails or not? And he's like, well, these are transactional emails. I'm sending receipts, I'm sending updates on a profile. And I said, well, then that's a decision that I would probably say, yeah, it's probably safe to send to them. If you are somebody that is cold mailing and you've never sent an email to this person before in your life, and now you're going to blast them with your promotion or your product or whatever it might be, and I'm not against that. However, I wouldn't send it to a complainer. I can tell you that much. That's a very, very easy and clear path of where you as a business get to make some decisions. So you don't want to send to a complainer if they're not expecting your mail. They're going to mark you as spam, and you're just going to start falling off the cliff. But on the other side, if you can remove those people, you have much less known people marking you as spam, and so you might be able to get to inbox better as a result of that. So yeah, you definitely want control of your data is the best way that I can describe that. And what those other companies are doing is a little, just I think, a little bit of fluff. um, and so, even a lot of these major ESPs and the large companies doing the sending actually refer ZeroBounce, and they say, hey, we have to suspend your account until you go to ZeroBounce. And I've seen these messages. They don't say go find email verification. They say go to ZeroBounce. And so it makes us super proud as a company. And it just also shows that the ESPs know that our quality is very good, and their reputation's at stake too, right? So they want to make sure that their customers are using high quality platforms with great results. And uh, again, you get to make the decision, so usually it's super important.
Yeah. So, a lot of people think of email verification as just, hey, I send you one or I send you a batch of emails, you send me back, status and details. But I think you guys have a few additional services outside of just, standard email verification. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the other services or, APIs that you have access to or give access to the customer?
Yeah, definitely. So we have two APIs for validation, just to get those out of the way. We have a real time API. These would be ones that would be good to hook up to, like a contact form, newsletter sign up, anything like that, where you're collecting the data. We can catch typos there and suggest the fix. Um, and this would be really for real time interaction, and something that I really recommend people use. The second one would be the bulk validators. Would be like you send us large batches, and we would validate the data and return it all back to you. So those are two APIs that we have. Some of the other services that we've had, because again, our mission statement and our mission and goal for our customers is to help them reach inbox, right? Not delivered, inbox. That's what we're passionate about. And so, you know, how do you do that? Well, validation is one step, reputation is another step. We have a whole deliverability toolkit that we offer. There's 3 services in there, and again, you can try all of these for free each month. Actually, it's a really nice freemium package. There's a blacklist monitor on there for IPs, IPv4 and v6 we support, as well as domains. And this would alert you if you get put onto any blacklist, and vice versa, pulled off any blacklist if you're trying to get yourself delisted. We have an email server tester. This would test the mail configuration and check against RFC standards and suggest the critical errors to get fixed. It's very techy. I'm pretty techy, and it's kind of a little above my head. But for really good mail admins, I think you'd really appreciate the level of detail there, because again, it's what we're really passionate about. It's the level of detail. And then we have an inbox placement tester, which is something I'd highly recommend to anybody that's mailing. This would be, we have about 20 seed accounts with popular domains, mainly consumer, and a couple business domains. And they're basically seed accounts that you would mail to, add them to your contact list, maybe your test group as an example. And then we will tell you if that landed in inbox, spam, or not delivered for each one of those seed accounts. And we have found that to be super successful when people are like, I don't know if I have a problem. I might have a problem. I'm not sure. Send an inbox placement test, and I'll tell you if you have a problem. I mean, if you don't have 100% inbox, and in the inbox folder, you have a problem. And so if things are showing up in spam in one spot, more than likely there's a trickle effect in others. So that's another piece that we offer is a deliverability toolkit. We have two more, and one of them is brand new. So I'm really excited to talk about this. I don't even know if you know about it yet. We released it about 3 weeks ago. It's called our activity data. And what we've been able to do is partner with signaling providers that will provide us feeds inbound, only inbound. We never use customer data. Super passionate about that, never will. Inbound data feeds that we are able to identify openers, clickers, forwarders, and unsubscribers on your list, and then also tell you a time frame of when we've last seen that activity. So we're going, yeah, yeah. This is something as of right now is available on our platform through validation. If you upload a file, we'll actually do all the matching on that and present to you how many there would be, so that you have the option if you want that data or not. And we also now have a endpoint for that for one email in, one activity data, report out. So that's another piece. We're really excited about that, and it's kind of a left foot step in the direction that we continue to want to take, which is help our customers inbox. Knowing you're engaging customers is really important. Even maybe segmenting some of your list into really high engaging customers can be very beneficial. So there's that. And then lastly, there is our email scoring for catch-alls. And this is a tool that we are able to kind of take your catch-alls, which could be in the B2B world, I'm seeing anywhere from 30 to 60% of a list can be catch-all. And if you go to anyone else in our space, they just say catch-all, your problem, deal with it. And something that we've always struggled with that mentality that it's like your problem, go deal with it. We wanted to help our customers, and so we developed again our own algorithms to figure out how do we know if this catch-all might be a real email address or might not be. And so we've been able to accomplish that, and I'm really proud of that product that we've put out. What we're finding is we're able to recover about 30 to 40% of your catch-all list with very high confidence that it will be deliverable. And so that's major for a lot of people that have lots of records. I mean, even small records, it's all at scale, but um, we see 30, 40% of lists being valid, 10, 12, 15, 20 being invalid, and then catch-alls. And so it could be half your list, it could be half your database. And it's just really important to have a reliable option for those emails. And it's something we've been able to do, especially in the B2B world. I mean, everyone is setting their boxes up to be catch-alls because you have churning employees, but that invoice for the product that runs your business needs to get paid. And so if that person who was paying it before left, someone needs to know that that invoice is now due again. So very popular. Almost every company I've ever worked for has been set up as a catch-all. So you need solutions for that, and just saying you deal with it or it's catch-all, good luck, cross the fingers and pray is not a solution that we were happy with. And so that's why we developed that product also.
Yeah, these are pretty amazing solutions. I mean, trying to set you up to answer a question about value, right? It's always nice for somebody like me, or in the audience, somebody who loves data,
Hmm.
to understand how you know improving your email deliverability, getting to the inbox, getting off blacklists, how incredibly important that is to a business, from new business to renewals to account managers to finance. Everybody's got to use that email as kind of their bow and arrow. And if it's out of whack, a lot of things can go wrong. So if you think about that enterprise segment of your customer base, what are the key, you know, items that you guys focus on building business cases around, key industry, statistics or studies that drive executive value on a solution like email verification and all of the above in terms of the services you just went through?
So one of the things that it's important for every business is ROI, right? Where's the ROI? And so what I would first look at is your email marketing. What's your email, or in general, what is the value of an email address to you? right? Is that your holy grail of every customer you have, right? So if someone mass deleted that email address column from your database or CRM system, would you flip your lid and lose your mind? If the answer is yes, then you have to treat that column, that data point as it's your holy grail. It's your north star of each customer, right? And so when you do that, you think about ROI, it's really kind of simple for me. And when I get to talk about it, actually, usually lets just a lot of light bulbs off for the people that I talk to, because they're just not thinking about it, and it's okay. We just have a lot of experience because our customer base is so big, so wide, and not geographically bound. So we hear all the use cases, and so one of them would be, I could just give an easy one on ROIs on storage space, right? So a lot of people are paying these ESPs, and they're paying, some CRMs are paying for the amount of records in the database. And what they're not telling you is these bounce, delete them. No, like they want you to keep those there. Those are like, you know, filler of free money for them. They're not going to send to them. Maybe they've bounced in the past and now they're just on suppression or whatever they might be. And so you're still paying for a lot of these records. Um, Usually, if you have a list that you haven't touched in a long time, I would say it's a guarantee you're going to have probably 20 to 30%, if not more, go invalid on you, especially in the B2B world, especially in the last year. So if I told you it might cost you a couple $100 to save a couple thousand on month one, because we've been able to reduce your contacts database by 30% because it was all garbage, um, you know, what does that mean for you? Does that open up more opportunity for you to do other things? And almost every single time people are like, I never thought of that. I never thought of this, bucket of people that I'm holding that have no value, and I'm paying to store them every single day, every single month. And I just pay the bill because people always love quantity. And one of the things that we fortunately get to talk about is quality. And so when you remove the quantity and stop thinking quantity and you start thinking quality, and you shave out a part of your list that had no value, you can save money just on the storage space. That's not even taking the effect of our actual platform, right? That's just an end result of cleaning. And so then now you're only sending to good contacts. Now you're sending to engaging contacts because we've been able to give you engagement data. You've recovered your catch-alls. You have a good reputation because you're monitoring your blacklist. You're checking to see if you're inboxing in our different tools. All of this adds up. And, the questions I have for people are, what are your open rates today? What are your click through rates today? What are you doing to improve them? And they're like, well, I'm testing different subject lines. Okay. How did that test go? Well, I got a 0.5% better open rate. Okay. What was the open rate? 2.2%. 0.5% does nothing for you, right? You want to be looking in the 30s for open rates. You want to be in the 40s. I mean, ideally, if it's transactional, 99s, right? These are important numbers to be thinking about. And so, getting rid of some of those bad emails, get rid of spam traps, which are out there, the complainers, the abuse accounts, the infos at, the supports at, all the invalids, that will turn into ROI. So we've been able to see click through rates increase, engagement rates increase, and open rates increase simply by having a good database and a whole campaign targeted towards valid contacts. So ROI for us is big. I mean, it's why we're successful. It's why so many people keep coming to us, because sure, I spend a little money here, but save a lot somewhere else or make more on my mailing. So, I don't see email marketing going anywhere for a long time. We all know how cheap it is to hit send, and we all know how effective it can be if you're doing things right. And so we just want to enable those people, and the ones that are in trouble also help them get out of trouble.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty amazing value across that whole chain. I think that as you think about where to start when cleaning your data, right?
Hmm.
It always goes back for me to validation of that unique identifier. Email often being that, and you know, I think a lot of people get the timing of that process wrong. They want to do all sorts of stuff to their data, but to kind of quarantine the set of data that is truly, first off, harmful, right?
Hmm.
Causing you to hit spam lists, but then hurting your open rates. And as you remove those, you start to get a better visualization of the real people in your database.
Hmm.
And so when you can do that and you can find there are trends about those people that are opening your emails and that also have high engagement scores and forward scores and all this stuff you're talking about, I quickly envision zeroing in on those audiences and doing that with kind of like a combination of ZeroBounce plus like a social affinity provider plus like a B2B database provider, and like saying, okay, now that I know these profiles and the groups of people, and the followers they have on, how many followers should they have on, so are there unique attributes, then you can go back into the data market and find lookalikes, right? Because
Yep.
you know you got to de-spam the spam, because
Sure.
right, if you know that you create value, especially in B2B, or you're selling to consumers, people are going to be in market for your product. um, you can find lookalikes and speak to them in a personalized way, and like you're saying, get those open rates from 2 to 30, while first reducing your database, but then building it with targeting people and groups that are alike to each other. And so I'm guessing that you guys do some collaboration, because it sounds like most of your work is around email verification. But do you actually partner or recommend at times that people go to syndication providers or data providers to find lookalikes of profiles that you've helped identify in the databases?
Yes and no. So we sometimes get asked the question on, like, hey, where's a good place to get data, or the lookalikes, and we do our best to guide based on partners that we've worked with. Um, but our focus is really, we don't like to call ourselves data providers, or we would call ourselves more in the verification space, and the deliverability space. And so, yeah, I mean, it's always something everyone wants. I mean, it's a great point that you're saying about the lookalike audiences. It comes down to your foundation, right? And so when you are building a house, you have all this extra stuff that shouldn't be there, but you're like, whatever, more is better, right? No, it's not. And so, yeah, absolutely, having a high engaging list, taking that list and maybe trying to find lookalikes. I mean, that's a very low hanging fruit, not hard to accomplish task, that really could change the way that your business operates, or your revenue, or however your business works. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's important. It is very important to be conscious of that, and you know trying to continue to make your business grow. We all do it, right? It's just who are we doing it for, and what's our product?
Absolutely. Well, we really appreciate you bringing all the knowledge today about the email verification market, and appreciate all the contribution you guys are making to the marketplace. And thank you for joining us on today's Talk Data to Me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I really appreciate it, and we're really excited about where RingLead's going as well. And so we're just excited to watch you guys and help support where we can. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We'll try to flow as much data through these connectors as possible, and love creating integrations. I know that you guys you mentioned even a type ahead on form submit to
Hmm.
suggest changes on an email that was incorrectly typoed. I think that is something that should be in every form. So
Yeah.
the vision is growing. I love the scores. I guess before we leave, of all of those features, which of them are you making available through APIs, and which of the ones that don't have availability through APIs, any sort of timeframes?
Yeah. So validation is can be fully automated, whether it's one by one or bulk. The scoring we can only do in bulk. And the reason is we just don't have enough time to hang a form submission up. We process data in real time. We don't wait or give it back to you later. Like, we do the work. And then we also have the activity data. So that would be an API endpoint that's available today. It's more of in a beta phase, but you can simply get access by chatting with us. Um, and so there's that. And then we have the deliverability toolkit, but there is no API for that yet. There are, plans to do that, but maybe towards the end of the year.
Yeah, I can see how the toolkit should just be really, dialed into the platform, your own, and connect to the wherever it needs to connect. Don't really see a lot of need for APIs for that, but that's great. You guys have a, an awesome automated roadmap, like a lot of the stuff that you're doing, and appreciate again you joining us on the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. It was great.
All right, Brian. Talk to you soon.
See ya.